How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. And in this video, we're going to be talking about bidding strategies. When it comes to Google Ads, getting the right bidding strategy applied and into the account is actually the most hardest thing you can do. Okay, and the reason being is because a lot of people kind of tend to misunderstand bidding strategies, or they use bidding strategies that don't really work for their business or their numbers. So in this video, Rob is going to break down how to use bidding strategies to make your campaigns more profitable, more efficient, and more cost effective. So without any kind of faffing around any further, I'm going to hand it over to Rob.
Good day, everyone. It's me again, Rob, your Google Ads expert at Bayer Digital. Hope all is well. Now, in this video, we're going to discuss about bidding strategies in Google Ads that scale without burning cash. How to tell Google exactly what you want. You see, Google Ads is an auction, and most brands enter that auction with a blank check. If you don't tell Google exactly what a customer is worth to you or your business, it will happily spend your money in your account finding the most expensive traffic for you. So today we're talking about how to take the steering wheel back using the right bidding strategies. And we're going to cover manual versus smart bidding, when to use maximize conversion value, target ROAS, target cost per acquisition, and budget pacing and learning phase management, and the biggest bidding mistakes e-commerce brands use or make in their account. Now, let's talk about manual versus smart bidding. Now, for manual bidding, this is mostly for data gathering or for very low volume niche keywords. It's like driving a manual car in heavy London traffic, which is exhausting and inefficient. Now, examples of manual bidding strategies are manual cost per click, manual cost per thousand impression, and manual cost per view. So first, let's discuss the manual cost per click. Now, this is applicable for you if you have, per se, a campaign type or a search campaign type. Now, the goal for that bid strategy is mainly for traffic and control. So you can manually bid high or low on each of your keywords. So say, for example, that you have a list of keywords, and let's say that this exact match keyword, you only want to pay a maximum cost per click bid of, per se, $1. So it's up to you. Now, for manual cost per thousand impression, that is applicable if you have a display campaign type. Now, the main goal for that one is for awareness. So unfortunately, this account doesn't have a display campaign, but to let you know how it works. So mainly the goal for that is if you are after awareness. So you will be paying for every 1,000 viewable impressions just to get their lookbook in front of high street shoppers without caring about clicks. So every 1,000 impressions you get, that's when your ad will pay for it, unlike with the usual cost per click. Now, with your with the manual cost per view, that is applicable if your campaign type is a video campaign. If your goal is for video views, so what you can do there is you can set a bid of, per se, uh, 0.05 pence per view to ensure that they stay within your strict budget while gaining subscribers for your YouTube channel. So those are the examples of manual bidding or manual bidding strategies. Now let's talk about smart bidding strategies. Now let me just access the campaign settings of this campaign for me to show you where to find here. So for example, you are going to change your bid strategy for a campaign. This is where you go. Click on the campaign and go to campaign settings right here. Scroll down, look for bidding. There's a drop down here. This is where you can change your bidding strategy. Now, I want to talk about first with the maximize conversions. This is the current bid strategy of this campaign that I'm showing you. Now, you set your campaign for maximize conversions bid strategy if your goal is mainly for sales volume. So this is when you don't care much about the cost per sale of the campaign, and you just want to get as much sales out of the budget that you will put in your campaign. So say, for example, you put 100, let's say 50 pounds of budget a day. You don't care about the cost per sale that you're going to get, but as long as the campaign gets to spend all the budget in the campaign to get as much conversions as possible for you. Next bid strategy that I want to discuss is the target cost per acquisition. So in order to do this, So let's say that you are from maximize conversions. You can switch to target CPA by ticking on this box. And from here, you can set a specific target cost per acquisition that you want to set. So say, for example, that you can afford to pay, per se, £20 to get a sale. Now, what you do is you put the numbers here and just click on save. So of course, I'm not going to do this in this campaign. So once you're done, once you have done that, Google automatically bids more for users with high intent to keep your average cost per sale or conversion at £20. Now, the next smart bidding strategy that I would like to discuss is maximize conversion value. So in order to change from maximize conversions per se or with target CPA, just untick the box and here click on change bid strategy. Just click on conversion value and then just hit on save. Now you want to choose maximize conversion value if your goal is the total revenue or sales. Now you want to choose maximize conversion value if you want the most revenue possible from your campaign's budget. Now once you hit on save, the AI prioritizes bidding on top performing or selling service or products that you have, and most often these are the ones that has higher value or pricing, because this bid strategy, this prioritizes the total sale value that is higher. And last but not least, I want to discuss about target ROAS, or return on ad spend. So first, to be able to set up a target ROAS for a campaign, all you have to do is you need to be under conversion value, bid strategy, and under that, there's a tick box here that says set a target return on ad spend. So just click on that. And here you can manipulate the numbers and just click on save, just like what we did earlier with your target CPA. Now, the main goal for target row is this is mainly for e-commerce businesses if you are focusing mainly on profit and return. Now, it is important for you to have a clear understanding about your numbers. You need to have a clear understanding about and consider your other expenses in the back end before you set a target return on ad spend. So how it works is basically, per se, we are going to set your target ROAS for this campaign at 500%. That means to say that for every £1 of ad spend, you want to get a return of £5. So if you set it at 100%, basically just want to break even. So of course you don't want that. So you need to consider your numbers in your back end, your other operating costs and whatnot. So after you consider and study your numbers in your backend, that's when you can set a target return on ad spend. But before I provide more information on that, we'll discuss that further. So the key point for this is in e-commerce, you cannot out calculate Google's AI. Now, your job isn't to set the bid, your job is to set the goal. Now, I want to provide you with some more expert tips. So before you move on to these smart bidding strategies that we have discussed, such as maximize conversions with target cost per acquisition, maximize conversion value, and maximize conversion value with target ROAS. So you want to make sure to start, especially if this is a new account, a new Google Ads account, and a new campaign, you want to always make sure to start with maximize clicks. So this is how we practice it. You want to make sure to choose maximize clicks because this is what we call the transition strategy. So first, what you want to do is to warm up your account or your campaign. So what's going to happen with the maximize clicks is it's going to get the campaign to spend as much budget as it can to generate you as much traffic data as possible. And then after that, once you have, per se, at least 30 conversions in a month, that is when you will graduate from maximize clicks and you can start to transition this campaign to a smart bidding strategy like a target return on ad spend or target ROAS. Because if you go to, per se, a bid strategy that is a target ROAS with zero conversion data, your ads will just simply stop showing. Because what's going to happen is that your campaign doesn't understand and doesn't know who to show your ads to and how it can achieve the target that you have set for your campaign. So as a the ideal strategy would be to, for maximize clicks, allow it to generate enough traffic and conversion data for you. And let's say that in the last 30 days, your actual, let's just have a clear understanding by showing you data here. So let's say, for example, that last month, or let's go further, let's say back in December. So let's pretend that this is your first month of running your campaign. And at the very first month, it generated you a target return on ad spend of over 6,700%. And then come January, target ROAS is at 5,627. So obviously the first few months, wouldn't that be consistent, especially on the first month? Usually if this campaign has been running for a while already, just so you know, so December is their peak season. That's why the target ROAS is much higher than January. But in most cases, on the very first month, that is the most inconsistent return on ad spend for any campaign. And what you want to do is, after let's say at least 3 months, your target ROAS is consistent at, let's say, 5,600 percent. What you want to do is you want to set a target ROAS that is close to these numbers but not too close. So you don't want to set up a target ROAS of, let's say, 5,600% when your actual campaign ROAS per se in the last 30 days is 5,627%, because that's going to be too restrictive for the campaign, and your campaign will end up not spending and not generating traffic and conversions for your account. So it's going to be a problem for your campaign. So instead, you want to at least provide a 30 to 50% allowance. So if this is the numbers for your last 30 days target ROAS, you want to set a target, let's say, for example, 5,580%, just to be on the safe side, for the campaign to still have the freedom to be able to bid more for traffic during auction time. And most often than not, even if the target is not too close to this, the campaign is actually the campaign is actually going to generate you even higher actual ROAS than what you have set for the campaign. Now, going back on the different smart bidding strategies, so let's discuss further when to use maximize conversion value, when to use target ROAS, and target cost per acquisition. So for maximize conversion value, you want to use this when you are on the launch phase. So if it's a new account, especially if it's a performance max campaign, all right, you want to make sure, if you're after sales, revenue, and profit, you want to make sure that it's under maximize conversion value on the launch phase. Now, it is important to set it when you have zero data and you need sales to start the engine. So it's like telling Google to get us as much revenue as possible for the budget that we have set in the campaign, regardless of profit. Now, you want to switch to um, a target return on ad spend bid strategy if you are already on the scaling phase. Now, like we have discussed earlier, this is when you already have, or this is when the campaign is already generating a minimum an average of 30 plus conversions or sales in a month. So that would be the gold standard for your e-commerce uh, uh, account, especially for performance max campaigns. So it is basically telling Google's AI to find us customers, but ensure that, for example, the target ROAS is 500%. So it's like telling Google to, hey, find us customers, but ensure that we make £5 for every £1 of ad spend. And then lastly, let's talk about target cost per acquisition. So here, now you want to use this if you are after mainly new customer acquisition. So when you know exactly what you can pay to buy a new customer, so it's basically telling Google that, hey, we don't care about the basket size. We just want to get or acquire a new person on my email list for maximum of £20 for every target cost per acquisition. Now let's discuss about budget facing and the learning phase. Now, this is where most UK business owners or advertisers lose their nerve. So I want you to remember the 7-day rule. Now, when you change a bid strategy, the campaign will enter a learning phase. Now, do not touch it. Do not touch or change the bid strategy for at least 7 days, ideally 7 to 14 days, because it's like planting a seed. If you dig it up every day to see if it's growing, it will die. So if you are going to make constant changes to the bid strategy in a very short span of time, the AI won't have time to learn the new bid strategy that you have set. So as a rule, when you change when you change to a different bid strategy, always wait at least 7 to 14 days before you make any further changes or adjustments. Now, in regard to budgets, I want you to remember the 20% scaling rule, as we call it. So never increase your budget by more than 20% at a time. So say for example, from 66 pounds, you want to increase to 500 pounds. So that would be uh, a dramatic change of budget. Now, if you go from this amount to 500 per day amount instantly, for example, what's going to happen is that the AI will panic and your campaign efficiency and your return on ad spend and or campaign ROAS will definitely tank. All right. So now I want you to know where to find the campaign status in order for you to understand if the campaign is still under learning phase. So usually, um, when you log into your account, usually you can see that on the campaign level as well. But just to be more efficient, I'm going to show this to you. So on your overview, kindly go to campaigns. So from this view, you'll be able to see the list of all the active and inactive campaigns in your account, where you can filter this out as well. So here, under campaigns, under campaign status, you can change the filter to view all your campaigns, including the ones that are already inactive or removed, or enabled and paused. So enable and pause campaigns, but always look at the enabled campaigns to efficiently look at your current running campaigns in the account. Now here, as you can see, once you are in this campaigns column, you'll be able to find the status of each individual campaigns in your account. So you just need to look for the status column. It's usually next to the budget. So here, when you make an update or a change in your bid strategy for a certain campaign, for example, this brand search campaign, you'll be able to see here under status that that particular campaign is still under learning phase. So right now we did not make any recent updates in the bid strategy of this campaign, but when you do, when you make an update, the eligible status will show as learning if it's already in the learning phase. Now, remember, most beginners panic here because the performance of your campaign after a bid strategy adjustment or update is going to be a bit wobbly. So, as an expert, I leave this alone. So again, usually I leave this alone at least 7 to 14 days for the AI to have enough time to season. So if you touch it now or constantly, you will reset the brain of the campaign. So you want to let it cook after you make an adjustment. Now, I want to show you where to find the top signals, as we call it. So that is your Performance Max campaigns black box. So here, say for example, you are on your Performance Max campaign. Now, what you want to do is you go under here. So what you need to look for is insights and reports. All right, here. So usually it's like this. You need to click on the drop down bottom, insights and reports. And from here, you can click on, let's say, insights. And in this insights tab, Google literally tells you the top signals. So it might show you that interest in, let's say, luxury goods or users in Greater London are, let's say, your highest converters. And this is where the AI is finding your profits. So you can also go through auction insights. You can adjust the dates to see the available data. So here, search terms report. You can adjust the data as well. So let's say last 30 days. So here you will be able to see which search terms has been triggering your ads and which search terms has been generating you traffic, so clicks, impressions, conversions, and all other important metrics to review. Here you can also see on when and where ads has showed. So you can identify which type of device, let's say mobile phones, computers, or tablets, which type of device is generating you the most traffic and conversions, and which are more efficient in terms of generating revenue. And here you can also see when ads showed, like the specific day, specific hour of day. So you can go through these to understand clearly what's going on with your account or campaign. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the biggest bidding mistakes e-commerce brand make. So one would be setting a unicorn ROAS target, as we call it. So what it is basically setting unrealistically high return on ad spend goal. So let's say, for example, that you're going to set a target ROAS of 5,000% for this Performance Max campaign when this campaign actually achieves only an average of 2,600% a month, or let's say at least in the last 30 days. If you do that, the result is that this Google Ads campaign or Performance Max campaign will stop showing your ads because it can't find those unicorns because it doesn't have that enough data yet. So it doesn't have that number. So this campaign will end up not bidding, not spending your budget. So your traffic, conversions, and sales will all actually fluctuate. So it's going to backfire. So one thing I want to discuss as well is tinkering daily. So like what we discussed earlier, you want to make sure that after a bid strategy adjustment or update, you want to wait at least 14 to 30 days of data to stabilize. So I'm saying 14 to 30 days. Well, standard is actually at least 7 days to 30 days, but personally, I prefer at least 14 to 30 days of data for the campaign to actually have enough time and be able to generate enough traffic and conversion data before you judge the outcome of your most recent update on your campaign's bid strategy. Now, like I've discussed earlier, changing targets every, let's say, 24 to 48 hours, it's going to keep the AI in a permanent state of confusion. So it's always going to be under learning phase. And also, lastly, I want you to stop ignoring the conversion lag. So, for example, in the UK or in the US market, uh, people often click an ad, let's say on a Monday, but they don't actually usually buy immediately until after a few days. So if they click your ad on a Monday, they may make a purchase eventually on Friday. So if you judge your bidding performance on Tuesday, just after 24 hours of making an adjustment or an update, you're looking at fake bad data. So that is why it is ideal to, again, personal suggestion is at least 14 to 30 days. That is when you will review your performance data for your campaign after your recent bid strategy update adjustment to make sure that you are looking at more accurate and more detailed data. All right. So, bidding is a game of patience and data. And if you're tired of seeing your costs go up while your value stays flat, it's likely your bidding strategy. Okay. That is all for this video. Thank you all for watching. Until next time.
Hope you found that video useful. When it comes to bidding strategies, it's absolutely important you are applying the right bidding strategy at the right time for the right line of products that you have. The wrong bidding strategy can really derail an account and derail your profitability. So if Google Ads is something you're struggling with for your e-commerce brand and you're spending over £3,000 a month and you're not getting the profitability or the desired outcome, then feel free to book in a call with me below. The link is in the description. And if you have any questions or anything at all, feel free to leave a comment. Again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Taz and I'm the founder of Pair Digital, an e-commerce marketing agency based in the UK. And since 2014, we have helped hundreds of e-commerce businesses grow and scale profitably using Google Ads, and we'd love to do the same for you. Thanks again for watching this video. See you on the next one.